Hi Capricorn, how's it going? I hope you're doing fantastic today. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lynn. This is a general reading, so just take what resonates and leave the rest. I've already cleared the energy of the cards, and these are all the cards that came out. And if you could do me a favor and just let me know what you thought of the reading, I'd love to hear from you. So let's see. Let's dive right in. We'll start over here. Your first card. So I asked Spirit a whole bunch of questions. I'll repeat the questions that I asked Spirit. And these were the cards that came out for the answers. So the first card, I asked Spirit, what energy is Capricorn currently bringing into this situation? Let me see here. Yeah. What energy are you currently bringing into this or your situation that you may not fully recognize? Okay. You're bringing this card, the Hierophant, is suggesting that you're bringing an energy of an energy of wisdom, structure, tradition, guidance, and commitment to established values. What you may not fully recognize is how much you are acting as a teacher or a mentor or a stabilizer or moral compass in your situation. Even if you're focused on practical concerns, this card is telling me that others may be looking to you for direction or reassurance or an example of how to proceed. Some of you may not realize how influential your words or actions have become. People could be viewing you as someone who knows the right way. This card is telling me that some of you are, or maybe all of you, are embodying authority. In a chaotic situation, you're contributing consistency, rules, standards, or a long-term perspective. This card tells me that you're bringing structure and order, or your decisions may be guided by tradition, experience, family values, spiritual beliefs, or social expectations more than you consciously acknowledge. This card tells me you're operating from deeply held beliefs. Or rather than seeking quick fixes, you're bringing energy that supports loyalty, dedication, and doing things properly. You're encouraging commitment. Or you may not realize it, Capricorn, but you're being, some of you are being somewhat rigid or attached to how things should be. Because the Hierophant can indicate an unconscious reliance on conventional approaches when a more unconventional solution might also be available. That would be the shadow aspect of this card, okay? So basically, Capricorn, you're bringing an energy of wisdom, stability, and leadership into your situation. You may not fully recognize that others see you as a guide or authority figure. Your presence encourages commitment, structure, and adherence to values, but you should also be mindful of becoming overly attached to tradition or fixed expectations. Okay? The Hierophant, it can represent a spiritual teacher, relationship commitment, institutional influence, family values, or being rigid in beliefs. But we'll keep going and see. So the second question I asked Spirit was, what lesson is this trying to teach Capricorn right now? What lesson is this situation trying to teach you right now, Capricorn? And you got the Three of Swords reversed. So right now, you're being asked to learn healing, emotional release, forgiveness, and recovery from past pain. Capricorn, you may be stepping into a position of wisdom or leadership, but the lesson isn't just about being strong or responsible. It's about healing something that has been hurting beneath the surface. So this card could be, the message could be healing instead of carrying the pain. So you may have become accustomed to carrying emotional wounds or disappointments or betrayals or heartbreaks or grief without fully processing them. And the lesson is that healing requires acknowledging the pain rather than simply enduring it. You're being asked to let go of a narrative that you've been holding on to. Like, for example, maybe you're thinking or you're feeling like you were wronged, or that you can't trust people, or that you have to do everything yourself, or that you need to protect yourself from being hurt again. The lesson is not necessarily to forget what happened, but to stop allowing old pain to define your current choices. This is a card of forgiveness and emotional freedom. This doesn't always mean forgiving another person. When it comes out reversed, it can mean self-forgiveness, or releasing guilt, or letting go of regret, or accepting that the past cannot be changed. The healing process creates space for a new chapter. This card is about opening the heart again. When it comes out reversed, it's all about recovery and the gradual reopening of the heart. So maybe Capricorn, you're learning that vulnerability is not weakness. The Hierophant says that you're bringing wisdom, guidance, and structure, and this card says the lesson is that true wisdom comes from healed wounds, not just experience. So you may be learning that you don't need to lead from a place of armor. You can lead from a place of understanding, compassion, and emotional maturity. Capricorn, this situation is teaching you how to heal rather than merely survive. You're being asked to release old heartbreak, disappointments, or emotional burdens that have shaped your outlook. As you let go of what no longer serves you, you step more fully into your role as a guide and source of wisdom. The lesson isn't about becoming stronger through suffering. Okay? The lesson isn't about becoming stronger through suffering. It's about becoming freer through healing. The combination of these two cards feels like a warning. It feels less like a warning and more like a transition from carrying old wounds to embodying the wisdom gained from them. And then your third card, I asked Spirit, and you know, the last few readings I've been doing for you, Capricorn, they've been talking about this healing and recovery and forgiveness. So your third card, the question I asked Spirit is, what is Capricorn holding on to that is preventing their growth? And the card that came out is the Emperor reversed. So this card is saying that there's an issue around control or authority or the need to manage everything or being rigid. And this is especially interesting because you are traditionally associated with structure, responsibility, achievement, and your previous cards already suggest themes of wisdom and healing, like the Hierophant and the Three of Swords reversed. But the Emperor reversed may be revealing the obstacle that stands between you and that healing. So one of them could be holding on to control. You may be trying to control outcomes or people or timelines or circumstances too tightly. The fear underneath could be a fear of uncertainty, a fear of vulnerability, a fear of being disappointed again, a fear of losing authority or stability. The lesson may be that not everything can be managed through discipline and willpower alone. Maybe you're holding on to an old identity. This card reversed can represent an outdated version of oneself. So maybe you may be attached to an image such as you must always be strong, or you have to have all the answers, or you can't show weakness, or you must carry all the responsibility. That identity may have protected you in the past, but now it's limiting your growth. There could also be resistance to emotional healing. This card can indicate emotional walls. Maybe you may be trying to maintain control over feelings instead of fully processing them. This card could also point to power struggles. Maybe you're holding on to resentment toward authority figures, or you're trying to prove something to someone. Your growth may be blocked by a need to win or be right or maintain dominance in a situation. And the Hierophant, when it comes out upright, it's about healthy wisdom and guidance. The Emperor reversed can be the shadow side of authority, becoming overly controlling or inflexible or resistant to change. You may be called to shift from commanding and controlling toward guiding and trusting. You're bringing wisdom, guidance, structure, and leadership. You're learning, healing, emotional release, and forgiveness. What's blocking your growth is excessive control, being rigid, emotional armor, or an attachment to an old version of power. So your growth is being limited by the need to stay in control. You've learned how to survive by being strong, responsible, and self-reliant. But this situation is asking you to release the belief that strength means carrying everything alone. The more you heal old wounds, the less you need to control every outcome. True authority comes not from force, but from trust, flexibility, and emotional wisdom. The message with this card, Capricorn, is the wound has healed enough now. Okay, the wound has healed enough now. You don't need the armor the way you once did. That's beautiful. I love that for you. The fourth question is, what should Capricorn focus on over the next 3 months to align with their highest potential? And you got the King of Pentacles reversed. So I ask Spirit again, what should you focus on over the next 3 months to align with your highest potential? This card points directly to your natural domain: success, security, achievement, material stability. But it also shows an imbalance that needs attention. Instead of telling you what you need to gain, this card is telling you what you need to correct or realign. This card is telling you to focus on redefining success. When this card, the King of Pentacles reversed, comes out, or when it comes out reversed, it can indicate an overemphasis on external success or status or money or productivity or control. What does success actually mean to you, Capricorn? Are you pursuing something because it aligns with your values or because you think you should? Are you measuring your worth through your achievements? The focus is on creating a healthier relationship with abundance and self-worth. You've been seeking security through external circumstances rather than internal confidence. This card is telling you to focus on stability from within. So, over the next 3 months, this card is saying that the growth opportunity may be building self-trust or developing emotional security, or trusting your own value without needing constant validation. This card is telling you also to avoid overworking. This card often appears when someone is pushing too hard, or when someone is becoming consumed by responsibilities, or when someone is sacrificing their personal well-being for their goals. So this card is basically saying don't confuse productivity with progress. You may need to focus on balance rather than accumulation. Examine control around resources. There's a repeating theme around control here. You may want to look at your financial fears, or your scarcity mindset, or your need for certainty, or your attachment to outcomes. This card suggests growth comes through loosening the grip rather than tightening it. So you're bringing wisdom and leadership, you're healing, you're learning healing and emotional release, but your growth is being blocked by excessive control and rigid self-protection. This card is telling you to focus on realigning your relationship with success, security, and your self-worth. Notice how both the Emperor reversed and the King of Pentacles reversed are powerful authority figures. Reversed. This is a strong message that your highest potential is not being blocked by a lack of power, but by an outdated way of using power. So over the next 3 months, you're being asked to focus on building security from the inside out. Release the pressure to prove your worth through achievement or status or control. True abundance comes when your sense of value is no longer tied to what you accomplish, possess, or manage. As you heal old wounds and soften rigid expectations, you step into a more authentic and sustainable form of success. So far, the reading feels less about external accomplishments and more about internal restructuring of how you relate to authority, success, and self-worth. So your fifth card, your fifth message, I asked Spirit what hidden influence is affecting this relationship. Okay, and the card that came out is the Fool. What hidden influence is affecting this relationship? A hidden influence is often something operating beneath the surface. Something neither person may fully recognize. And the Fool suggests an energy of new beginnings, innocence, spontaneity, freedom, risk-taking, and stepping into the unknown. So, possible hidden influences could be a new chapter is trying to begin. The relationship may be influenced by an unseen opportunity for a fresh start. One or both people could be standing on the edge of a completely new phase. even if they're still focused on old patterns or past issues. Or maybe someone wants more freedom than they admit. The Fool values freedom and exploration. A hidden factor could be a desire for independence, or a fear of being tied down, or a need for space to grow, or curiosity about what's possible. This doesn't automatically mean someone wants to leave. It can simply mean the relationship needs room to evolve. And there could also be, this card could also be about taking a leap of faith. There may be an underlying invitation for someone to trust rather than overanalyze. You know, considering the Emperor reversed and the King of Pentacles reversed appeared earlier, your theme has involved control and security, and the Fool is almost the opposite energy. So the influence, the hidden influence may be trust the journey even if you don't know exactly where it's leading. Sometimes the Fool points to approaching a situation without baggage. If the Three of Swords, reversed, speaks of healing old heartbreak, the Fool may suggest that part of the relationship's purpose is learning how to engage without projecting old wounds onto the present. The Fool can be a card of innocence or inexperience. So far, the reading seems to be moving from established beliefs and wisdom, healing past pain, releasing control, and redefining security and success. And then we get the Fool. So maybe the universe is saying, after you've done all this healing and released the need to control everything, a new path becomes available. The hidden influence may actually be the future trying to emerge. There is an energy of possibility, expansion, and starting fresh that is quietly shaping the relationship behind the scenes. A hidden influence affecting this relationship is the energy of a new beginning. Whether you realize it or not, this connection is being influenced by an opportunity to step into uncharted territory. There's a call to release fear, loosen control, and trust the process. The relationship may be pushing both people toward growth and freedom and a fresh perspective that neither fully sees yet. One of the things that stands out is that the Fool is the first card in your reading that isn't focused on structure, authority, or healing from the past. It brings the energy of the future, possibility, and faith. almost as if the deeper purpose of the connection is to help you move beyond old limitations and into a new phase of life. The sixth question I asked Spirit was, what strength does Capricorn possess that they are underestimating? So what strength do you possess, Capricorn, that you are underestimating? And the card that came out is the Eight of Cups reversed. So when the Eight of Cups comes out upright, it's about walking away and seeking something deeper. But when it comes out reversed, it can point to hesitation, unfinished emotional business, or returning to something. But in the context of a strength, it reveals a hidden resilience. So the strength you may not see is extraordinary emotional endurance. You may underestimate how much you've already survived emotionally. This card suggests someone who has faced disappointment, uncertainty, or emotional challenges and kept moving forward even when the path wasn't clear. Your strength isn't necessarily in walking away, it's in your ability to stay present with difficult emotions and continue the journey. There's a refusal to give up. One of the positive expressions of this card reversed is persistence. Capricorn, you may think you're stuck, but this card suggests you have a remarkable ability to keep searching for meaning and healing and fulfillment rather than settling for less. A deep self-awareness is also emerging. This card can indicate that you are revisiting old emotions or relationships or lessons, not because you're weak, but because you're willing to do the inner work. Many people avoid unresolved feelings. You may not realize that your willingness to confront them is actually a strength. This card also represents loyalty and commitment. So this can show someone who doesn't abandon things easily. While this can become unhealthy if taken too far, as a strength, it reflects dedication, perseverance, and the ability to see things through. Capricorn, your underestimated strength is your resilience and your refusal to give up on emotional growth. What's interesting here is that many people would see this card reversed and think stuck. But it can indicate that you have a greater capacity for emotional healing and transformation than you actually realize. Capricorn, one of your greatest hidden strengths is your perseverance of the heart. You may feel as though you've been carrying unresolved emotions or revisiting old chapters, but this isn't weakness. It's evidence of your commitment to growth. You have the ability to face difficult truths, learn from them, and continue forward. Even when the path is uncertain, you don't easily give up on what matters. That resilience is one of your most powerful gifts. And there's also an interesting contrast between the Fool and the Eight of Cups reversed. The Fool wants to step into a new chapter, while this card suggests you may not realize you already have the emotional strength needed to take that leap. The strength being underestimated may be precisely the thing that allows you to embrace the fresh start the Fool is quietly bringing into your situation. And then your next message, I asked Spirit, what is the next best thing or the next best step for Capricorn in their career or their life purpose? And the card that came out is the Star reversed. I'm sorry if you can hear them working outside. They're doing some lawn care. So the next best step, what is the next best step for Capricorn in their career or life purpose? This is less about taking a specific external action and more about restoring an inner connection. This card, when it comes out upright, it's about hope, inspiration, purpose, faith, authenticity, trust in the future. But when it comes out reversed, it often appears when someone has become disconnected from those qualities or someone who's doubting them. So you may have been so focused on responsibilities or survival or achievement or practical concerns that you've lost sight of why you're doing what you're doing. Okay? So the next best step is to reconnect with the vision. Ask yourself what inspires you, or what kind of impact do you truly want to make, or what dream have you put on hold? Or what would you pursue if you believed it was possible? This card is telling you to reconnect. The next step may be to reconnect with the dream before worrying about the plan. The Star reversed often shows up when someone is underestimating themselves or questioning their path. So this is a card of releasing self-doubt. In a career reading, it can suggest a loss of confidence or feeling uninspired or comparing yourself to others or wondering if your efforts matter. So the card's advice is not work harder, it's restore your faith in yourself. Stop looking outside yourself for validation. This connects strongly with the King of Pentacles reversed. You may be measuring success through external achievements or recognition or money or status. But this card suggests your purpose becomes clearer when you stop defining your worth by what you've accomplished. Okay? Your purpose becomes clearer when you stop defining your worth by what you've accomplished. You need to trust the process even if you can't see the outcome. The star is associated with guidance after a difficult period. And reversed, it can indicate that guidance is still there, but you may not be recognizing it. So this is telling me that the next step may simply be just follow what genuinely interests you, or take small actions toward what feels meaningful. Or don't wait till you're completely certain. You already possess wisdom and leadership. You're healing old wounds. Release excessive control. Redefine success. A new beginning is available. You have way more emotional resilience than you realize. It's time for you to reconnect with hope, purpose, and faith in yourself. Many of these cards are pointing inward rather than outward. This reading isn't saying change jobs or start a business or move cities. Instead it's suggesting that your next career or life purpose step begins with healing the mindset that's making you question your direction. Your next step is to reconnect with your vision. Somewhere along the way, practical concerns, responsibilities, or past disappointments may have caused you to lose faith in your path. Before chasing the next achievement, focus on restoring your sense of hope and inspiration. Trust that your purpose has not disappeared. It may simply be buried beneath self-doubt, fear, or exhaustion. The more you heal and release the need to control every outcome, the clearer your direction will become. One thing that really stands out in this reading is that the Fool appears before the Star reversed. It's almost as if the cards are saying the new path is available, but you must first believe you are worthy of it and trust where it leads. And then the 8th question, that's a very strong life purpose message, Capricorn. Okay? The new path is available to you. The Fool, new beginnings. The new path is available, but you must first believe you're worthy of it and trust where it leads. Okay? The Star reverse is a loss of faith. Have faith. And then the 8th question is, what patterns keep repeating in Capricorn's life and how can they break or transform it? And you got the Queen of Wands. So what patterns keep repeating in your life and how can you break or transform it? So, the Queen of Wands is a powerful, magnetic, and confident energy. This suggests the repeating pattern may revolve around personal power, confidence, visibility, and authenticity. So one possibility is that you repeatedly find yourself in situations where you're called to step into your power, but you may be struggling with fully owning it. So the pattern could look like maybe you're dimming your light to make others comfortable. Or you're taking on leadership roles, but you're not recognizing your influence. Or maybe you're seeking validation before trusting your own instincts. Or you're being highly capable, but you're questioning whether you're enough. There's already a theme of self-doubt hidden beneath competence and strength in your reading. Another possibility is attracting power dynamics. This card can sometimes indicate recurring situations involving strong personalities or competition, or issues around confidence and recognition, or being seen versus staying in the background. So you may repeatedly encounter people or circumstances that force you to examine your relationship with personal power. Now, the question, how to transform the pattern? The answer is actually contained within the card itself. The Queen of Wands doesn't ask permission to be herself. She knows her value without needing constant external confirmation. So basically, what Spirit is saying, how you transform these repeating patterns, is through trusting your intuition. Okay? Transformation comes through trusting your intuition, taking up space unapologetically, expressing yourself authentically, leading with confidence rather than control, and allowing yourself to be seen. After several reversed cards dealing with healing, control, and self-worth, this card appears as a strong, upright archetype. It almost feels like the outcome or the medicine for the entire reading. This card is saying a recurring pattern in your life may be underestimating your own power or influence or ability to shine. You may repeatedly encounter situations that challenge your confidence and ask you to trust yourself more deeply. The way to transform this pattern is not through greater control or harder work, but through self-belief. Spirit is telling you to step into your authenticity, allow yourself to be seen, and trust the gifts you already possess. The more you embrace your natural confidence, the less these lessons will need to repeat. The deepest repeating pattern isn't failure or heartbreak, it's forgetting your own light after difficult experiences. So the Queen of Wands is here to remind you that your transformation comes from reclaiming that light and expressing it boldly. Then your ninth question, I asked Spirit, what does Capricorn need to know about the path that they are currently considering? What does Capricorn need to know about the path they are currently considering? And you got the Five of Pentacles reversed. This card, when it comes out reversed, it's all about recovery, improvement, support, healing, and moving out of a difficult period. This path leads away from lack. The path that you're considering has the potential to move you out of a period of struggle, whether that struggle is financial or emotional or spiritual or energetic. This doesn't necessarily mean instant success, but it does indicate movement toward greater stability and hope. One of the biggest messages of this card reversed is that support exists, even if you haven't fully recognized it yet. This is the help is available card, reversed. Okay? Spirit may be asking you, are you trying to do everything alone? Or have you overlooked resources or opportunities or people who are willing to help? Are you still operating from a survival mindset when circumstances are beginning to improve? Release scarcity thinking. A lot of times this card comes out when someone is on the verge of improvement but is still making decisions from fear. Given the King of Pentacles reversed, the Emperor reversed, and the Star reversed, this is a recurring theme in your reading. Capricorn, you need to know that the situation is no longer as limited as you think it is, okay? The challenge may be believing that things can get better. Recovery is already underway. Recovery has already begun. That's what this card means. You may not yet see the full results, but the energy is shifting. This card feels like confirmation of the healing journey. Okay? Healing old pain, a new beginning is emerging, restoring hope and trust. You're leaving hardship behind. The path under consideration is not taking you deeper into struggle. Instead, it appears to be leading you out of an old cycle of limitation. This card may also be challenging you to stop identifying with old wounds, setbacks, or disappointments. Sometimes people become so accustomed to surviving that they don't immediately recognize when they're finally entering a season of receiving. You're entering a season of receiving. Capricorn, the path you're considering carries the energy of recovery, renewal, and emerging from a period of lack. You may be closer to support, opportunity, and healing than you realize. Don't let past disappointments convince you that the future will look the same. The path appears to be guiding you away from scarcity and toward greater stability, but it requires a willingness to believe that improvement is possible and to accept the help and opportunities that are available to you. This card feels like one of the strongest signs of forward movement. After so many cards are about healing and releasing control and rebuilding self-worth and regaining faith, this card suggests that you may be closer to a breakthrough than you currently think. And then your last card, I asked Spirit, what message does Capricorn's future self most want them to hear today? So what message does Capricorn's future self most want them to hear today? What does your future self most want you to hear today, Capricorn? And you got the Sun reversed, okay? This is actually a beautiful card in this position because it speaks directly to perspective, self-belief, and recognizing the light that is already present. The Sun upright, when it comes out like this, is joy, success, clarity, vitality, confidence, and truth. When it comes out reversed, it's saying that those qualities are not absent. They're often temporarily obscured or doubted or underestimated. So the core message from future Capricorn, your future self, is things are better than you think they are. The future Capricorn may be looking back and seeing that much of the fear, uncertainty, or self-doubt you're experiencing now was preventing you from recognizing how much progress you have had already made. Stop minimizing your progress. This card often appears when someone focuses on what's still missing instead of what they've already accomplished. So your future self may be saying, give yourself more credit. You're farther along the path than you realize. It's also confirming that recovery is already underway. Don't let temporary doubt become your truth. This card can indicate periods where confidence fluctuates or motivation feels lower, or the future seems unclear, or joy feels harder to access. But the card's message is that the light hasn't disappeared. It's just hidden behind the clouds. So allow yourself to experience joy. This is an important message, okay? Allow yourself to experience joy. When was the last time you allowed yourself to enjoy the journey instead of constantly preparing for the next challenge? Recognize the progress, hope, and success that's already emerging. Your future self wants you to know that the light has never left you. There may be moments when doubt, fear, or disappointment make it difficult to see how far you've come, but your future self sees the bigger picture. They see the healing you've done, the strength you've built, the opportunities opening before you. Stop measuring your journey by what hasn't happened yet. Trust your progress. The joy, success, and clarity you're seeking are closer than they appear. One thing that stands out is that both the star and the sun appeared in the reading reversed. The sun and the star appeared in the reading reversed. These are two of the most hopeful cards in the deck. Even If they can, even though they came out reversed, they still carry their light. And together they suggest that your greatest challenge right now may not be a lack of opportunity or potential. It may be learning to believe in what is already unfolding for you. You need to believe in what is already unfolding for you. So release control, heal old wounds, trust yourself, and move forward into a new, brighter path. Okay? You're healing heartbreak, you're releasing control, and you're rebuilding self-worth after a hard emotional period. So that is your reading today, Capricorn. Thank you so much for letting me channel these messages for you today. You ended with the Sun card. So, excellent. Take good care and I'll see you next time. Bye.